You know that feeling, right? That gut instinct that just turns out to be spot on? Or when you think of someone and seconds later they call you. Well, today we're diving into exactly that, this idea that our minds have this incredible untapped potential. And look, this isn't about suddenly gaining superpowers. It's more about rediscovering these natural abilities that might just be buried under all the noise of our day-to-day lives. The great Aldous Huxley just framed this whole exploration perfectly, didn't he? We're going to be talking about those very doors of perception, the subtle layers of reality that are humming along just beyond what we normally see and hear. And that really is the central question for our explainer today. What if you don't have to go searching for some magic key to unlock all this? What if it's already inside you, just waiting for you to learn how to listen? So let's start by getting a handle on what these abilities actually are.
Okay, so let's get one thing straight right from the start. What we're calling psi isn't some mystical power you have to go out and acquire. Think of it more like a hidden signal that's always been there, always broadcasting. Our goal is just to strip away the noise, the doubts, the mental clutter, the constant distractions that's drowning it out.
I absolutely love this analogy. Imagine your mind is a radio. Most of the time, we keep it locked on the same station all day long. Work, emails, what's for dinner, social media. But what if there's a whole spectrum of other channels out there? Channels broadcasting deeper truths and insights. This is really all about learning to gently turn that dial and just see what else you can pick up. So, to actually start tuning that inner radio, we've got to build a solid foundation. And really, it all boils down to two key pillars that hold each other up: mindfulness and belief. But before we get into the how, let's just make sure we're all on the same page with what we mean by psi. So when we say psi, we're really just talking about these subtle capacities. It's kind of the catch-all term for experiences like a flash of intuition, that gut feeling we talked about, or even things like telepathy. Anything that operates beyond our typical five senses of sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. And psi can pop up in a couple of key ways. Spontaneous psi is what most of us have probably experienced. That sudden gut feeling that comes out of nowhere, or a crazy coincidence that just happens. Intentional psi, on the other hand, is what we're here to talk about. It's what you can cultivate through deliberate practice. And that's where our foundation really comes into play. Our first pillar is mindfulness. So why mindfulness? Because psi information is incredibly subtle. It's like trying to hear someone whispering to you from across a loud, crowded room. Mindfulness is the practice of quieting that room, turning down the volume on all that mental chatter so you can actually hear those whispers.
And this just shows how simple it can be to start. You don't need to meditate for hours on a mountaintop, just a few minutes. Find a quiet spot, close your eyes, and just notice your breath. The real secret sauce is in step 4. When your mind wanders off, and trust me, it will, just gently, without any judgment, guide it back. That simple act of returning, that's the whole practice right there.
Now, for our second pillar, belief. And look, this isn't about blind faith. It's about being open to the possibility. It's so interesting, studies in this field consistently find something called the sheep-goat effect. The sheep, people who believe in psi, tend to score way higher in experiments than the goats, who are skeptics. It's almost like belief itself acts as a key, unlocking mental doors that doubt keeps bolted shut. A huge part of building belief is just getting over the fear. Fear of the unknown or fear of what other people might think. Affirmations, like the ones you see here, can be a powerful tool to reframe your mindset. Just repeating them helps to build a sense of safety and confidence, turning that fear into curiosity. Okay, so we've got our foundation, mindfulness and belief. Awesome. Now we need a compass. This next part is all about adopting the right mindsets that will guide you and keep you grounded and on a clear path as you go. The first guiding principle is humility. And this isn't about thinking less of yourself, it's about thinking of yourself less. It's about recognizing that this is a huge, vast field of exploration. And the best way to approach it is with the curious, open mind of a student who's always ready to learn. And humility is the perfect antidote to a really common pitfall, the ego trap. As you start to develop these abilities, it can be really easy to slip into this guru complex, where you want to be seen as the expert. But the real path is to focus on being of service, not on your status, and to always, and I mean always, stay open to feedback. And hand in hand with humility comes integrity. That ancient wisdom, know thyself, is absolutely vital here. When your actions are truly aligned with your deepest values, when who you are on the inside matches who you are on the outside, you create this clear, static-free channel for your intuition. It's that internal honesty that ensures the information you're getting is pure and not distorted by your own stuff.
So far, we've focused a lot on the internal work. Now let's zoom out a bit. How do these personal practices connect to the, bigger picture? Let's explore the universal principles that seem to be the very fabric of all these phenomena.
At the very heart of all this is a really profound idea: interconnectedness. It's the concept that we're not just isolated islands, but we're all nodes in this vast, unseen web. I mean, modern physics even hints at this with things like quantum entanglement. From this point of view, psi abilities aren't magic at all. They're just our natural way of perceiving and interacting with this fundamental web of connection.
So if we're all connected, then compassion becomes incredibly important, right? But it's more than just feeling sorry for someone. It's about transforming that feeling of empathy into conscious, helpful action. When you act with compassion, you're literally aligning your personal energy with the positive, flowing currents of that universal web, which in turn makes you more sensitive to it.
And at the absolute highest frequency of this connection, we find love. And I don't just mean romantic love, but that big, unconditional care for all things. In so many spiritual traditions, this is seen as the fundamental energy that binds the entire universe together. It's the clearest, most powerful channel we have for perceiving that deep, deep connection.
All right, so with all of this context, how does this stuff actually show up in our lives? Let's make this really tangible by looking at the psychic signposts, the ways that spontaneous psi appears in our day-to-day experience.
The most common signpost, without a doubt, is the simple gut feeling. We've all had it. That immediate physical sensation in your stomach, in your chest, that just screams yes or no, long before your logical brain has even had a chance to crunch the numbers. That right there is a direct line of intuitive information.
Next up, we have dreams. Our dream state is this amazing space where the logical, critical part of our mind finally takes a back seat. This allows our subconscious to communicate through symbols and stories. So many premonitions and profound psychic insights have come through dreams. Paying attention to them can be incredibly revealing. And finally, there's synchronicity. You know what I'm talking about? Those meaningful coincidences that just feel way too perfect to be random. You're thinking about an old friend you haven't seen in years, and they call. You're wrestling with a problem, and the answer suddenly appears on a billboard you drive by. These moments often feel like the universe is giving you a little wink, confirming you're on the right track or offering a clue.
So, what's the big takeaway here? These signals, the gut feelings, the dreams, the synchronicities, they're not these rare supernatural events. They're happening all the time, woven into the fabric of your life. They are the natural whispers of the universe, and they're available to anyone who is willing to quiet their mind and truly tune in. So the question isn't whether the signals are being sent. The real question is, are you ready to listen?